Ever since I was a young and I was into rapping 20 years later and I'm still here yapping. Guess I got so much to say, so I'm trying to educate all of us. I hope together we can elevate. Time flies and our life is moving so fast. What's the forecast? Good vibes to be broadcast. So come and chill with me as we let the bad vibes blow past. This is Shout Out Podcast.
Okay, we start recording. Welcome to the Shout Out Podcast, second episode. And today we have a very interesting guest. Very thankful that he's here with us. He's the president of the newly formed party, the Rising People's Party. And I think this episode is going to be a very interesting one because a lot of people are looking forward to hearing more about their party, the ideologies, and it's a curious time for Nagas right now. So thank you for joining us, Joel.
Welcome.
Just before you came here, you said you were at a meeting.
Yes.
Can you care to tell us a little bit about what that was about?
Yeah, it was a party meeting.
Okay.
Yes. Normally we have our party meetings on every Friday.
Okay.
So we have discussions on many issues.
Okay.
So we intend to do that in this come.
All right. So that is going to be the main topic of discussion. So we'll get into details about that later. But how have you been dealing with the pandemic? The last 2 years have been very strange, difficult times for all of us. But you in particular, how have you handled it? Or
It has been a difficult time for all of us, no doubt. And I haven't handled it well because I have 5 kids.
okay.
Basically, my wife is taking care of my children. And the online classes, it's taking a big toll, I guess, on all the parents. In fact, it's my wife who's doing almost everything. She's cooking, she's taking care of the children, and she has to be with the children when they study. When the classes are on.
Yes.
And she has to go and, take care of her shop, her business.
Okay.
So I feel sorry for my wife, and I feel sorry for my children because classes are 8 to 2 almost every day. So I guess everybody's going through a tough time.
Yes. So respect and a big shout out to Madam for handling that. I have a son, just one son, so I can only imagine. Not going to school even, but I can only imagine how hard that must be. But yeah, what's something that you have maybe taken away from this whole situation? Something you've learned or maybe realized, through the COVID.
Yeah, I realized that time is precious, and it's important to spend time with your family, especially with your children, because in 2020 it was a long lockdown. So I spent quality time with my children, and I realized the importance of spending time with our children. As parents, I think all of us should be doing that. Yeah.
I totally agree. I think it's given me that same perspective also about how maybe we take for granted so many small things, and family being a very important one that we should be giving more time to all of us. I want to just let the audience get to know you a little better. So what I do is I make you go back to your childhood and just sort of tell us how it was like growing up during your days. If I'm not mistaken, I think maybe the 70s, late 70s.
Yes.
So how was childhood back then, and any interesting stories or... sorry, before you go, you were raised in Dimapur, born and brought up?
Yes, Dimapur.
Okay,
Yes.
so you can start with how Dimapur was back then. Okay.
Dimapur was beautiful. I was born in 1974. So I still remember Dimapur. It was very peaceful. And there were lots of, I remember this very well, vividly. There were lots of non-local families. In the sense, people from UP, people from Kashmir, serving in Dimapur as government servants. So, and in those days, late 70s, early 80s, there was a thriving, cinema culture. And it surprises us that, the timing. People used to go late. People used to go for late movies, even 92, things like that. No? So anyway, my childhood years were, like mixed, I should say. Mixed in a sense, both pleasant and unpleasant, because my dad, he was an administrative officer. And in those days, he was a circle officer. So circle officer these days means ESC. So what happened was in 1982, he resigned and he stood for election. So after he stood for election, my world turned upside down, I guess. Because prior to 1982, it was a nuclear family. Me and my sister, and my brother and my younger sister, we are having, a different kind of life. It was a very quiet life, and it was a very, how do I put it? It was a very joyful life, because my dad was always there with us.
Right.
My parents were, my mother was always there with us. But after 1982, things changed, and unfortunately, my father lost.
That election,
Yeah,
that 82.
We lost elections, and then what happened was, after that, we hardly saw him, because he was busy in his career, and it was my mother who was working as a dealing assistant in power department. Basically, she was the one who was taking care of family. She was earning. My father, he would get some contract works now and then, but then the worst thing was, we never got to see him regularly. So I guess in a sort of way that affected me. Yeah. So I've taken a conscious decision not to allow my children to go through that.
The same thing. Okay. It's coming full circle. But okay, just want to clarify that you said you were born and brought up in Dimapur, but when your father contested elections that time, you all shift based there, or how did it work?
No, we were here in Dimapur.
Okay.
My father contested from Singapore.
Yes.
So we were here, and again, 1987, he won.
Okay.
So anyway, the story is very interesting. I hope you want to listen to it.
Please, we have all the time. Like I said, we have plenty of
Okay.
time.
So in 1982, he took a decision to contest elections and resign from his job. So what happened was, before he resigned, he went to the village. He had a meeting with the villagers twice, and the villagers, in one voice, agreed to support him. So after having taken that decision, he came down and he told my mom, I'm going to resign. So my mom was deadly against it, it seems. And I got to know the story only last year, by the way.
Okay. Very late.
Very late. It's because I'm very close with my dad these days. That's why. Anyway, so what happened was, one uncle of ours, he was a reverend. So he came and slept in my father's house. That time we were staying in PWD colony. So that particular reverend, the next day he told my dad, Nilo, this is not your time. You should not contest election. Because he had a dream. So my dad was like, what is this man saying? What is my cousin saying? So he just brushed aside the warning. And after some few weeks, again he went for campaigning. He hadn't resigned then. Okay, so he went for campaign, and then he was in a village, one particular village called Sentidu. So in that village, the next day, early in the morning, 4 o'clock, one lady came and told him, Nilo, the Lord is saying, the Holy Spirit is saying, don't contest elections. Don't contest elections. You will not win this time, 1982. But the Lord is saying you will win only in 1987. He brushed aside the warning of the Holy Spirit. So unfortunately, he lost. Yeah, he lost. And losing is okay. I guess in politics, winning, losing is part of the game. Yes. But the worst thing which happened was my village got divided on account of that.
Okay.
Because what happened was my villagers who supported my dad, they went and destroyed the house of the first rank my MLA, who happens to be from my village. So by destroying that village, you know, uh, what happened was that family, they also are our relatives.
Okay.
That family, our family, and the rest of the villagers, the blood feud began. You know, blood feud in the sense, the sort of, like heartburn, unforgiveness.
Yes, yes.
You cannot forget that incident.
It goes on
So
for a
it
long
goes
time.
on, and then it happened. I guess, I guess it's happening even now.
Yeah, I'm aware of those. Some those cases also. Yeah. Can be a tough thing.
Yes.
But I guess that's also a part of life. Maybe it's just how we handle it or deal with it.
Yeah.
And okay, so drastic change in your childhood, like how you were saying initially, you were close knit family, all happy, and father at home all the time, and then suddenly after getting into politics, as expected, because you have to be very busy, as we all know, it took a drastic turn. What sort of pushed you to get into politics after all this also? Like, was that passion always there from, when did that start,
I really don't know.
okay.
Sorry, I really don't know when that started. But I guess it started 11 years back, 2010. Yes. See, the thing is, those days, when my father was a minister, or when he was a politician. Now he's retired. So those days, our house used to be full of supporters at any point of time, whether in Kohima or whether in Dimapur. 20, 30 people,
Yes.
sleeping in the house at the same time, and then, fully crowded. So for us, not having people in the house was abnormal, right? So we used to, it was such an eerie feeling, not having people in the house, not having lots of noises in the house. No? That was a kind of an eerie thing. Anyway, so I guess it started after the passion started more or less after we started Account Movement.
Account Movement.
Yeah. And
That was like the ignition, or like where it sparked off.
yes. That was the catalyst.
Okay.
Yeah.
So just going back again, we'll be going back and forth.
Yes,
We'll
yeah,
just talk about
absolutely,
everything.
absolutely.
That's the best way to do it. So going back to maybe like when you were getting older, like you're still in school or getting into college, what was your ambition that time? What were your goals? What did you want to become? Who was Joel Naga that time?
Joel Naga was nobody that time. He was a vagabond.
Okay.
So, see, I just want to share, my failures with
Please.
your viewers as well,
Yes.
because I don't have any success story, by the way. So it's, I guess, only failures. So let me narrate some few incidents. So basically, I studied in Holy Cross. Yeah, Holy Cross. I passed out from there, and then after that, I went to Triveni Academy, a residential school, and I studied science.
Okay.
Yeah. My father, he wanted me to be an IAS officer.
That's almost all Naga parents.
Yes.
Mm.
When I was small, I still remember when I was small. Like I must be in class 3, 4, 5. You should be an IAS officer. You should be an IAS officer. Like, he bombarded me with those, with those words, and I grew up thinking, okay, fine, I want to be an IAS officer, right? So I was so scared of my dad, basically. But dad, forgive me. I was so scared of my dad that I couldn't tell my dad, no, I don't want to be an IAS officer. I want to be an Air Force pilot, a jet fighter pilot type. Nah? But I didn't have the guts to tell my dad, no, I want to be a pilot. So anyway, I studied science, and I did horribly bad in my exams.
Okay.
I got only territory in maths. I guess that's the pass mark.
Pass mark,
Yeah, and I'm sure it was the grace mark given by the invigilator.
Mm.
So after that, I got admission. I got into St. Stephen's College, Delhi University. But 3 years, I really don't know what I did in Delhi. You know, so it was like more like a fun kind of thing.
Totally understand.
Wasting away your time.
Yes.
Wasting your parents' money. Things like that. So I really don't know what I did. So after that, I started going for coaching classes, but I really wasn't interested. I wasn't really interested. So what happened was in the year 2003, I got married, and then the reality struck me. Oh yes, you are married. Now you have to take care of your wife. You have to take care of your children. So I decided to go back to Delhi to take coaching classes. So I got through my prelims exam 3 times, but I simply couldn't get through my mains exam.
This was UPSC?
UPSC,
Okay.
yes. And by the time I gave my UPSC exam, I was 30 years old.
Mm.
So I guess, family tension on one side and the burden of being a father on one side, trying to be a student on the other side. I just couldn't handle it.
That's a lot of things to handle and juggle at one time. But okay, so you've made it quite clear that that was not your calling or your passion. You were doing that more out of your dad's wish that he wanted you to become an IAS officer. What other things did you ever I wanted to become this or that, like the jet thunder that jet fighter pilot thing you were saying, was that were you just giving an example, or did you really want to become?
No, I really wanted to.
Okay, so that was like something that you actually
Yes.
wanted to become.
Yes,
Okay.
yes.
That's
No
interesting.
doubt about that.
That's a very uncommon, ambition or a goal for a person to have. I mean, you don't usually hear that. So, okay, fine. Moving forward, you said that was around your 30s when you gave your last.
My exam.
Yeah, UPSC.
I was 30, 31, 32, 33, 34, 35.
Okay.
Yeah.
So, moving on from there, what did you get into then after that?
So I tried my hands in. But after that I joined. What's it? No. After that I tried my hands in newspaper.
Yes, I was
yes,
asking you earlier about
yes.
the letter H.
The letter H.
Yes.
So what happened was I started this weekly paper. Yeah. But it was difficult.
Sure.
I realized that in Nagaland, weekly papers will not sell. And again, readership is very low, basically.
Yes.
We may be having, 20 lakhs population, but readership is very low. And I'm sure even the circulation of Nagaland Post will not be more than 1 lakh, I have a feeling. So in those days, it must be around 60, 70,000. So there was no buyers for, the weekly paper. People used to say, oh, your paper is good, it's good, okay, fine, it may be good, but it wasn't making money. So I just gave up the venture. I just said,
I vaguely remember the letter H,
Right.
TLA, yes, as it was called. But there was interesting journalism there. There's some stories that you were breaking out.
yeah, it's not hard. Yeah. Me and my friend, Marin, I still
Okay.
remember.
Okay.
Marin Jambi from Sarai Ministry. A very good friend. In fact, he was one who inspired me as well to dabble in politics.
Politics.
Yes.
Okay. So this was around which year?
2010.
2010.
2010, 2011.
So that is now getting into the later part, which is that was right around the time of Akkaut, if I'm not mistaken.
Account was 2013.
Or 2013.
Yes. Yeah.
Okay, I'm not good with dates but okay. So in between that and 2013, before the Akkaut journey started, was there anything else you were involved in, or
Between 2013 and
yeah.
No, I was involved. I was in the Naga Council.
Yes,
Yes,
I'm
was
aware
in,
of that.
Yeah, I was in Naga Council, and it was a Naga Council which gave me a platform, so to speak. Naga Council I joined in 2010, and then I served Naga Council till 2015. Okay, so that time Sir Savi was the president, so I served under him as the finance secretary.
Okay.
So I learned a lot from him. I learned a lot from the other senior members in the Naga Council. In fact, it was the Naga Council which taught me. This platform taught me how to be a leader. Yeah, so I'm really grateful to Naga Council.
Just on Naga Council a little bit, because my grandfather also has a very close proximity to it. He was, I think, one of the founders and president. It was the Male Pese.
Malapesi is a grandfather.
Yes. So, I mean, it holds great value to me, although I'm not associated with it in any way. So, what is your view now that you're no longer, with that, and you continued your journey elsewhere? What is your just your opinion on the Naga Council? How do you think? Just your personal view.
Yeah, sure.
Where do you think they should be heading, or just?
Naga Council is a very old institution. It's a Naga
Yes.
institution. It is not just a collection of tribal leaders. No, it's an institution, and then Naga Council has done a lot for Naga people since your grandfather days, and we feel sad, looking at the present situation where where the leaders are divided not on the basis of principles, but because leaders are fighting for a post.
Right.
So it's a sad situation. I don't mean to judge anybody. I'm not judging anybody. But if leaders fight like this, they're setting a bad example, I guess. So as far as I'm concerned, I'm not taking sides, but I just wish that they would come together and settle the issue.
Right.
That's it.
Because I think they can be very instrumental in
Exactly.
so many ways.
Yes.
Whether it's in regards to social development. So, yeah. Okay, so again on Naga Council, what prompted you to join the Naga Council? What was your motivation or vision behind that?
Well, that time, I did not know what Naga Council was.
Okay.
Yeah. So after giving my UPSC exam, so till 2005, I guess I was given the exam. So after I gave the UPSC exam, I was a little bit dejected, things like that. Things are not working out for me. So one elderly friend of my dad, okay, Kritsovi Kat, and his friend, one Azuto Sini. So both of them approached my dad, and they approached me as well, requesting me to join Naga Council.
Oh.
So at that point of time, I did not know what Naga Council was, as I said. But I thought, okay, fine, let me join Naga Council and give my service to the Naga people in Naga Kuilina. So that's how I joined this institution.
Okay. So that came out of advice from your dad's friends, uncles, and more of a suggestion.
Yes.
So overall, like you said, you learned a lot. That was a
I learned a lot. Yes.
learning experience.
It was a
right?
learning experience.
Okay. Moving on to ACOUT.
Yeah.
This is something that I think thumping majority of the Naga people were behind. We all supported, the goals of what it was trying to accomplish. And how did, you were one of the founding members, so how did this all come to be? Because we've always been complaining about corruption, that has been there forever, but how did this sort of the body of ACOUT and the organization, how did it come about?
2013, in the month of May, the president of Dimapur Chamber of Commerce, he approached the Naga Council. That time I was in the Naga Council.
Okay.
So he approached the Naga Council, and so he said the business community is in the ICU because of illegal taxation. So we decided to form a committee. So ACAUT, Action Committee Against Unfair Taxation.
Right.
That was the
first name.
acronym,
Yes.
yes. And that was the first name, yes. So we formed that, and the committee comprised of 2 members each from all the civil society organizations and the trade bodies, the business bodies. So we were around 30 of us. So that's how we started. So initially so at that point of time, there were around 5-6 underground groups. So basically, our stand was, we'll give tax to all the underground groups, no doubt, but only once in a year. So that's how it began. And then we met the NNCN IM, we met the NNCN Itobi group, So along the way, KK Sema started writing in the papers. So it was, it coincided. So he questioned the account as to the logic behind giving text to all the different factions. So he said, what you should be doing is tell the factions that we will not give text to all the different factions, but we will give text to the different factions if they come together. So the slogan "One government, one tax" was coined. So I mean, credit goes to KK Sema as well, and of course, credit goes to Sir Savi as well because
He was the president at that time, Naga Council.
no, he wasn't the president at the time.
Okay.
But he had when there was a function in Dimapur. I don't remember exactly where he said Naga people will give one tax to only one government.
Yeah. Okay, so like I'm sure most of the Nagas know, but there are some youngsters who might not be aware of this also because it has gone from like into the background now. But it was a very powerful movement. I was one who was a big supporter of it, as many Nagas were, I think. So how did that journey change from it was like under one government, one tax? That was your main agenda.
Yes.
That was the main agenda, and then it went against. The name changed, the acronym changed into Action Committee against corruption and unabated taxation, right?
Yes.
So how did that move from one thing to another?
Yeah, that is a matter of. This is something which I believe, where I believe we should have analyzed things properly because at that point in time, see, all of us were like we still are learning, of course. As somebody said, we learn from till the day we die. We learn.
Like it's a learning process.
It's a learning process. At that point of time, we were inexperienced, the accord members, and we were like, the decision making was, impulsive and things like that because we had to, firefight, taxation problems. So decisions were supposed to be taken quickly and without much analysis.
Right.
So under that pressure cookers situation, we took the decision to tackle corruption as well. Now I'll just give you the background. We went to Kehoi camp, and then we were talking about the illegal taxation issue. So one of the senior functionaries, he stood up and he questioned us. Okay, fine. You're worried about the taxation levied by the Naga political groups. But I'll tell you, we are a revolutionary government and we will levy tax as long as we have an army. And this army is, we call this army the Naga army, and we have to maintain this army with, ration, with, this and that, and salaries, whatever. So that's why we are collecting tax, and it is our inherent right. And he also said, here when we talk about collections or illegal collections, what about the state government? Instead of questioning us, you should be questioning the state government. That's what he said. Because the state government, the politicians, and of course, sections of bureaucracy, they are they have their hand in the pie, and it runs in thousands of crores of rupees. Shouldn't you be questioning them instead of questioning us? And that was the question thrown at us. And after coming back from the camp, we had a meeting, and then we decided that we should tackle corruption as well.
Okay.
So that's how we changed the nomenclature to against corruption
Yes.
and taxation. And in hindsight, I think it was not a good decision. Yeah.
Trying too many things at one go.
Exactly.
Yes,
Exactly.
yes. The main purpose was.
Yeah.
Okay, so Akaut, when did you officially leave Akaut?
I left account in 2018,
2018.
February,
Okay,
just before elections.
okay. So, and just this is a general question because I think a lot of Nagas feel this way about, how and why did Akaut suddenly decline? You know, it had so much momentum going. You've also admitted that many of you were inexperienced to grasp decisions, including that one of the main ones, which was trying to tackle corruption as well. But the decline, no, I don't want to say decline, that's also not right. But, you know, it doesn't hold that status anymore where it once had, you know, the full, I think you could easily say like the thumping majority of Nagaland Nagas were behind this movement. So how did that sort of, I guess I have to say decline, how did it happen?
Yeah.
And what do you see a way forward for, it is still existent, right? Or
Yeah, it is
it's not
existence.
defunct, yes,
No,
yes,
it's not
yeah.
defunct.
Mhm.
Yes.
So,
See, when I left the account, I did not contain the account and leave the movement.
mm,
I just want to justify my actions. And I just want to clarify to your viewers that I never contained account in any manner. I just left the movement. Okay, I submitted my resignation and then I went away because I had my reasons, my personal reasons, and there are so many reasons. Okay, but what I did was uh, I gave my resignation to one of the co-chairmen, right? So when I gave this resignation letter, this letter I think it went viral,
oh,
something like that.
yeah.
So the press people they called me up, especially Nagaland Post and Moran Express. I think Nagaland Post. So they asked me whether I resigned. So I said yes, I resigned. I did not go to the media with my resignation letter. Instead, they asked me. So I said yes, I resigned. So I did not cite any reasons. I just said that I have resigned on moral grounds because at that point of time, the account was deeply involved in solution before elections.
Yes.
Remember, if you
Yes,
remember
yes.
it, right? So we were deeply involved in that. Account as a group, as a movement, and then Naga civil society organizations, plus Nagaland Tribes Council, we are deeply involved in that. And we failed. We failed in our, we failed to convince the Naga political parties not to contest the elections. So we failed in that. So election was, so election was going to happen, and then we failed. And so I felt that I should also resign because and there were so many personal issues, and then I was also kind of disillusioned. So it was, like many things, striking me. So I took that, I won't say opportunity, but I think that at that moment, I felt that I should resign. So I resigned. So I just want to tell you, and I just want to tell all the viewers that I never contained the account movement. In fact, you should be asking this question to the leaders. Why people are not hearing of the account movement, at this point of time.
You said you left Account in the year 2018.
Yes.
2018
Yeah.
February, you think, right? So, what was your transition then? I mean, like after you left Account, obviously you didn't directly start a party. So, what was the transition period like?
During the transition period, yes, I was spending time with my family.
Okay.
Because it was a trying period for me. In the 5 years I was in account, and my blood pressure really shot up, and I have this hypertension problem.
Okay.
My hair turned gray.
Looks good on you, but
Anyway, jokes aside, I just took the time to spend time with my family, and then in the meantime, we started the groundwork, and then along with like-minded friends, we started the Naga Rising. So the Naga Rising is an ideological body,
yes.
not only for the
Okay, before
Rising.
yes, sorry
Yeah.
to cut you off, but
Yeah.
which year was this? Like when you said like you started the groundwork for what
20
became the RPP?
Yeah, 2019.
2019, so it
Yes.
started, okay.
Yeah, right after election year.
Mhm.
Right.
Okay, okay.
So 2019 we started the Naga Rising, and the Naga Rising comprises of people from different backgrounds. We have intellectuals there, we have business leaders there, we have activists there. So we started this body, the Naga Rising. So Naga Rising is, as I put it, is basically an ideological body.
Right.
And it is an ideological body not only for the party, but I guess for all the Naga people.
Just in general also, right?
It's as in general, because it stands for Naga rights, and it upholds the, the values and the value system which we the Nagas practice, and so many things. Yeah, it's an ideological body.
So, as an ideological body, what is the main ideologies, or where are they focused on the Naga Rising?
They are not focused only on one particular issue. In the last 2 years or so, we gave out so many press releases related to the Naga political issue. So people think that the Naga Rising is only concerned about the Naga political issue. No, it's not. We have given press releases regarding COVID as well. You know, we have given press releases regarding other issues as well. So, I mean, whatever issue concerns the Naga people, we will raise the issue. The Naga Rising will, uphold the issue and raise the issue.
Okay. So, like you did mention, this is the ideological body of the Rising People's Party. Let's get into that, because that is, I think, the hot topic of the day or the moment right now. I'm sure a lot of people have already heard about at least the Rising People's Party, and that it is a newly formed political party in Nagaland. And I want to take time with this because there's so many questions, there's so many things to talk about. Let's start with how it was founded, and who are the founders of the party, and how it started.
So the Naga Rising felt that it is necessary to have a political party with a new ideology, with new political thoughts. So that's how we started. And last year, 2nd October 2020, we adopted the constitution of the Naga Rising, which happens to be the birthday of Mahatma Gandhi, father of the nation. Because his life is about sacrifice, so we felt that our ideology should reflect the sacrifices of the father of the nation. It talks about self-reliant India. We talk about a self-reliant economy. It talks about so many things. Non-violence. We are for democratic processes. We will strongly abide by the philosophy of Gandhi, which is non-violence. Things like that. So that was last year. So we started the registration process with the ECI, and it took us 8 months. So finally, in the month of June this year, our party got registered with the ECI.
So that's officially done.
That's officially done. Yes. Yeah.
And like you said, it stemmed from the Naga Rising, right? The formation of the party. Who were the main people involved? I mean, you are obviously the president, so you were, I'm sure, heavily involved. But who are some of the other players who are now,
in the party?
In the party. Yeah, like maybe you can sort of like just. I looked it up a little bit. It was quite hard to find some of the other people. I'm aware, like you got Miss Abeni today also.
Yes.
And Mr. Simon also. But who are some of the other people? If you can
Jokoy
just sort
is
of...
there. Jokoy.
Okay.
Jokoy, you are aware?
Yes.
He's a Bollywood actor. So he is our youth president, the Rising Youth President.
Okay.
So Jokoy is there, and then Kevito Kira is there.
Yes.
Kevito Kira is there. And Vito Zhao, I think he's your uncle.
He's actually an uncle, yes.
Yeah. So Vito Zhao is there. He's our treasurer.
Okay.
Yeah. So I cannot reel off all the names.
No, it's okay. You don't have to name the whole organization, but just I just wanted to know some of maybe also the audience would also because
I think is there. Who? Oli Chishi.
Okay, yes.
Oli Chishi, she is the chairwoman of Churches Colony.
Okay.
And she's also very active in Facebook. Yeah.
Very active, yes.
Yeah.
Okay, so now the party is being created.
Yeah.
And at least from what I know, from what I've read in the papers, uh, it's that one of your main agendas is corruption, anti-corruption. You want to, take away corruption from our land. So, besides that, which is obviously a very important issue, can you just tell us some of your other maybe goals or policies, if you have not even like framed them totally, but just the vision of what the party is trying to do?
Yeah, governance is one issue, good governance,
Good governance.
yes. And youth and women empowerment is one issue, which we are serious about. We want to set up women candidates, and this our women candidates should win. This is this is a mission for us, in fact. So that is one aspect, and we want to have create an environment where the Nagas control the economy, the creation of a self-reliant economy. So that is one very important manifesto, uh, and um, and of course the rule of law is very important. Rule of
Law and order to be
law.
maintained.
Yes, yes.
Okay, so I want to just get directly into it because starting a political party is no joke. Obviously, it's a mammoth Herculean task. So, how are you going about? Because you've made it clear that you do want to contest in the upcoming elections in 2023. So, how are you sort of going about the organizational structure of the party? Because with the 60 constituencies we have, and I don't know if your plans are to contest in all seats or whatnot. We'll get into that later. But like,
Yeah.
how are you approaching that organizational structure of the party, which is obviously very important?
See, right now, this is what I keep telling people. You know, there's a joke. The RPP joke is very simple. There's a joke in our midst. Uh, so one day our general secretary was saying, "Have you realized that none of the RPP members have an iPhone?"
Mm.
Yeah. So then it struck me. Yes, none of us carry an iPhone. Oh yes, we can buy it in the black market as well. We can buy second-hand iPhones these days. It's available. But it struck me because the RPP as a political party does not have the money power. That this is something which I want to make absolutely clear to all the Mara people. As individuals, all of us are struggling. We're all struggling families or struggling individuals. So we just want to tell the Mara people that, see, we will not, we don't have the money power, we don't have the muscle power, we don't have the influence, we don't have, we are not like the other parties. We don't condemn other parties and the senior politicians. We just want to tell the people that we are different. We will implement the clean election manifesto of the church. So regarding the party structure, is a difficult proposition. Lots of youths, I think lots of youths they have joined the party at least through online membership, and they are now they are now in our WhatsApp group. But we are yet to set up our units in all the districts, and we'll be doing that slowly. We'll be going to the districts. We'll be interacting with the grassroots. We'll be going to all the constituencies, and then only then we can set up a proper district
Right.
unit or a proper constituency unit.
Right.
So right now it is not possible because until you meet the people and interact with them, you can't just set up
Totally understand
a
that.
structure in that manner.
I just wanted to know if that was in process or what was the situation with that. Okay, and one more thing about the youth factor. You've made it clear that obviously youth and women are an important aspect of your aspirations, the party's aspirations. So I read in an article that you had stated that RPP will be fielding only fresh faces.
Yeah,
Is that correct?
that's true.
Yeah. So I just want to know if we should be worried that if you do well in the elections and you do, win the elections, will there be a lack of experience if it's only being young faces and fresh faces being inducted, or do you think that's not of an issue?
For us, that's not an issue because in other countries, Like for example, like Barack Obama, he became president when he was, I think, 46.
Right, right.
And Bill Clinton, I believe he became president when he was 44 or something like that. So by the time you're in your 20s and 30s, you are a congressman or a senator. Even Macron, the French president, he's in his mid 40s.
Right, right.
And the Trudeau, the Canadian president, is also in his 40s. So I think the trend all over the world is to have young leaders, young dynamic leaders. And look at all the prime ministers of these Nordic countries like Finland, Norway, and even New Zealand. These are young people, basically. So having a young person, I think, will add dynamism to the government.
Okay, right. Fair enough. My thing was just that maybe if there could be a mix of experience and
Oh yes, that's absolutely right.
right.
Absolutely right. And it's biblical, actually, having a mix of the young and the elderly.
Right, right.
We are not discounting the elderly generation in that sense.
Yes.
What we are just trying to say is, we will bring in fresh candidates in the sense those people who are not tainted, basically. Those candidates who are not tainted, we'll bring them in. So by that criteria, it means it can be a young person, or it can be somebody who has never been a minister, who has never won an election in his life, but he has tested. He has been into electoral politics.
Okay, understood. Fielding of candidates. I mean, I don't know. It's I don't know, in political terms, I don't think you can say it's too far off because 2023 looks like it's just around the corner. What are your plans, or if you can disclose whatever you can, of like how many seats you intend to field? I mean, candidates you intend to field for the Nagaland Assembly elections?
See, the RPP is not. If the Naga people say yes, we are ready to elect, or we are ready to recognize, or we are ready to give a mandate to the RPP. Obviously, we'll field candidates in all the constituencies. But the question is, are the Naga people ready or not? So I think in 2023, it will be a mixed bag. Something like, money power, yes, it will be a big factor. Regional tribal politics, it will be a big factor. But in the midst of all these, we're trying to, enter. And I believe we should be able to, set up at least 30, 40 candidates.
That's it.
Winning or losing, that is
Yeah, like
up
we
to the
said, that's
people.
part of the
Yeah.
that's part of the.
But let's see how many gets elected out of that.
Okay, interesting. You touched on a few things that I wanted to discuss about also. You had said that you want to abide by the church's the clean election campaign that they tried in the past. So just being very frank and realistic, we all know how the election works here in Nagaland, what the scenario is, how people have to spend so much money to get elected. And just before I give you the chance to answer, I just want to use this example, like Mr. K. Sema. He was such a vocal, like a loved leader by, like the public, and he was very vocal for ACAUT and such. And he participated in the elections, and unfortunately he lost by quite a big margin. That's one thing. The second thing is someone like it was Mr. Huzo Meru, who was all out for contesting the elections on the clean election campaign, and he unfortunately did not fare well also. So I want to, just being very frank, I want to ask you, like, you've said that to change the system, you have to be in the system, which I totally agree also. You can't just change the system by shouting from outside. I get that. I understand that. But what is your approach on how are you going to get inside the system when we know that to get into the system, the roads are very, narrow and crooked?
Yeah. The Huzo Meru and Sir K.K. Sema, they're pioneers, they're path breakers, yes, and we appreciate them. It's because of them, that we have been inspired, we have been inspired, and but at the end of the day, as I've said before, one man alone cannot change the system.
Of course.
It takes a town, it takes a village, it takes a political party, it takes a movement to change the system. And I believe this political party, the RPP, we will create this into a movement. I believe we can turn this into a movement, in a movement for clean election. And see, the thing is, we feel that it's impossible to win elections if you are for clean elections. Because when we talk about clean elections, it means you will not use money power, you will not buy votes, you will not capture polling booths, you will not chase away, the genuine voters from the polling area or from the village. All those things are involved. So RPP, I believe, we are going against the system. See, those things, money power, vote capture has become the normal.
It's part of the system now,
It's part
right?
of the system.
Yes,
It's
that's what I mean.
very normal.
That's what I mean.
So we are going against the normal right now. So we are sort of a counter culture movement, something like that. So it's a very difficult question you're asking me,
Yeah.
whether we'll win or not. See, at the end of the day, I really don't know whether we'll win or not. I really don't know. But I'll tell you something. An example, I'll just give you an example. In 2013, my father stood for elections. Yeah, 2013, my father stood for elections. And as there were three candidates, one from my range, one from Tsiminu range, I'm from Tandinu range.
Okay.
There are 7 ranges in Rema,
Yes.
in Tsiminu. So one from the Tsiminu range. So during elections, what happens is, my range will, capture the votes, indulge in vote capturing. The Tsiminu range will indulge in vote capturing. Tsiminu range will indulge in vote capturing. So that is a normal procedure.
Right.
So again, it was a lot of, I did a lot of soul searching. So when we did that in my range, it hurt a lot of families. And so in a gathering, in a revival setting, I spoke and I told my villagers, see, this kind of things should never happen again. We all take responsibility. I myself take responsibility for what happened in 2013. The vote capturing, which led to an ugly episode where my father's opponents were chased out from the village. I took moral responsibility and personal responsibility, and I say, please forgive us, because these kind of things, these are unchristian things, and these things should never happen again in my village. So I think I said that in 2016 or 2017. I'm not sure. So the RPP is not simply saying it for the sake of saying that we will abide by clean elections. Anybody who wants to be a candidate, anybody wanting to stand from RPP candidate should give a declaration that he or she will not indulge in vote capturing.
All those practices.
Yeah, and all those unchristian practices.
Okay. I mean, it's definitely an uphill task, but there's something that I also hope it works out for you and the party. And I had to ask this question because this is something that all of us Nagas know, like the way the system works and how election works with all the Manu power, like all the things you said. So it's something that was a bit worrisome in the sense I wanted to know how you were trying to approach that. Just wanted to talk about, like you did mention a few points and issues earlier, but corruption being one of the main agendas of anti-corruption, of the party. You mentioned good governance, and are there, like, can you just tell us some of the maybe policies, if not policies, also some of the sectors that you plan, like, your party are looking to focus on?
Yeah. See, apart from good governance and women empowerment, I think illegal immigration is one major issue.
Yes.
Not only for the RPP but for all the political parties.
Mm.
The only problem is that we only talk, most of the Naga people, including myself. We talk about illegal immigration, and illegal immigration is something which every Naga is an expert. It's a topic on which all of us are well aware of. But I guess we have to be really serious, and it's very sad that none of the political parties have seriously taken up the issue of illegal immigration, and this is very unfortunate, and it pains our heart because illegal immigration is happening, and it is a threat to our identity. It's a threat to our existence, and therefore the RPP is very serious about this issue.
This is, I think, an issue that, like you put it perfectly, everyone knows about it, but no one's doing anything about it. So, like you just said, this is something that you want to focus on. Can you sort of expand on how you want to tackle this issue? Like,
right now we are not in a government.
Of course.
Yes. And
hypothetical question. If you were.
Yes. If we are in a government, definitely we have to bring in legislation. So because see, we talk about illegal immigrants, but who are the illegal immigrants? We cannot identify. So we have to bring in a mechanism where we can identify the illegal immigrants. And one way of doing that is to bring in legislation. And if things go right, probably we can have a separate department to take care of illegal immigrants.
I guess it is that serious, and it needs to be addressed like very strongly, because it's a threat that all of us are aware of. But like you said, we don't do too much about it. We just talk about it and then forget about it and move on. Right? Just want to ask you a personal question. Are you planning to contest in the upcoming elections 2023? Have you taken a decision on that?
Okay.
Out of the blue.
My people, they ask me, are you contesting? So far I have said no. I haven't made up my mind. It depends on the situation. So I've been telling my people it depends on the situation, But since you've asked me, I think I'll reveal it. Yes, I'll contest.
Congratulations. I mean, I wish you all the best for that.
Yeah.
It's a tough battle, as we all know, and getting into that is, like we said, we've come full circle. We started talking about you and your dad and how life turned upside down, but wishing you the best for that venture.
Thank you. Yeah.
And one issue that I wanted to just get your opinion on was about the women's reservation. I know this will take a long time, but just in brief, like what is your opinion, your party stance on it also? And secondly, because we know obviously the municipal elections have been held off all this time because of this certain issue, and how do you think that affects not having elected members as our councillors in the municipal council?
On the issue of women, see, our party stance is very clear. See, personally speaking, women are not inferior men in any sense of the term.
I agree.
They're equal to men in every sense of the term. Again, and that's why we don't have a women wing in the party.
Okay.
So we don't have a women wing, no Mahila wing, no women wing. So everybody is an equal participant, and therefore we have a good number of women in our party in the executive positions, and this is what we intend to do. That's why, as I said before, we intend to set up women candidates in good numbers. Whether that can be done or not, it depends on other people. But from our side, from the party side, we intend to put up women candidates. Okay, that's number one. So regarding women reservation, it has been a contentious issue. We believe that our mindset should also change. Our Naga mindset needs to change. So we remember JCC,
Yes.
they were, and then unfortunately lives were lost, things like that. So very unfortunate. But Having said that, tomorrow if the government of India says, like we have to implement women reservation, probably the RPP will have to consult all the stakeholders, including women, because there are many women who don't like reservation. By the way,
True, true.
they say that the reservation demeans them, and on the flip side is that there are some women who are for reservation. So we have two powerful arguments, going on. So we need to consult women on this issue, basically. When you talk about women reservation, I think we have to consult the women, not the men, whether they want it or not. So it's an issue which is open to discussion, and we'll be talking about it. We'll be holding consultations with all the stakeholders.
Right.
So right now we are waiting. We will do the wait and watch policy.
Okay. I totally agree with you on that aspect that women are equal. And regarding the reservation, I'm also on the fence, but I'm leaning towards just personally, my opinion is that they don't require reservation. I understand the argument from some women who say that they're making their case for it, but I feel that our Naga women are equally capable. They don't need reservation to contest or to win. But I can sort of understand why they're some of them are strongly for it also. Okay. Is there anything else you'd like to talk about regarding this field that we're going on politics? Something you want to add from the party's side?
Yeah, the other day, one person from the electronic media was asking us in our press conference, what about tribal representation in your party?
Actually, I was. Yeah, yes. Perfect.
So we answered that. See, in our party, we don't believe in tribal representation. We believe in ability. We believe in aptitude, and of course aptitude. In a party, whoever is capable of serving the Naga people, they are most welcome. But we don't choose people on the basis of tribe, because this is something which is affecting all of us. The tribal attitude, tribalism is affecting all of us. In fact, after illegal immigrants, I think probably this is a major issue, affecting the progress of the state.
100% agree with this.
Yeah.
I feel that tribalism is a threat to all of us, something that we just brush aside, because it's fine to be proud of your tribe,
Yes.
to be proud of your roots and your culture and all that. But the way that sometimes it rears its ugly head in so
Yes.
many situations, I think this is something that needs to be addressed. I really appreciate the stand of choosing people on merit and not
Yes.
because we know how it is.
Yes,
We know how
yes.
it works. That if there is not equal representation, then this tribe or that tribe feels bad, and it upsets the political balance. So that again, I hope it won't be a tough task if you do come to that position. But wishing you the best for that also.
Thank you.
One thing before we go, the Naga political movement. I mean the Naga national movement. It's something that concerns every Naga. It's something that I think all Nagas talk about with their friends. Some maybe cannot say it so loudly in public because of certain reasons. But I feel that these are discussions that we should be bringing to the forefront when we talk about so many issues like illegal immigrants and whatnot. But some sensitive issues, maybe this is something I feel that obviously it affects all Nagas. So I want to sort of bring it to the forefront and let the audience also get to hear what you're a politician, fine, but there'll be many other guests who are like from different fields. I want them to also, hear a perspective of what a doctor thinks about the movement and such. But since you're here as a politician, I want to get to know your opinion on the Naga national movement. Where do you think it's headed right now? And sort of what kind of road do you think we should take? This can be from your personal view or the party's view?
No,
Either.
the party doesn't have a view on this.
Okay.
Yeah. So my personal view on the Naga peace process. See, the thing is, it's very unfortunate that, and we don't blame the younger generation. Basically, we don't blame the younger generation. I mean, the younger generation. They don't talk about the Naga political issue. They're fed up, and these days, you open your Facebook page or WhatsApp, and youngsters that bash the Naga national workers, and it's very unfortunate. But what to do? The situation is such that the youngsters cannot look up to them as role models. So that is a sad situation we are in today. And I think we are probably my generation. I think we are probably the last generation to have these feelings or to have this thing in us that we support the Naga movement for
Right.
independence, of sovereignty, and freedom. Probably we are the last generation who is supporting the Naga movement. So it's a sad situation. People born in the 80s and 90s and after in the last 2 decades, they have no idea about the Naga national movement. And they have no emotional connection with the Naga political movement. They haven't gone through the harrowing times at the hands of the Indian army. They haven't, they haven't experienced the harassment and things like that. So probably the emotional connection with the Naga movement is not there, and we don't really blame them. So it's so this is which I keep telling people when I meet them. The Naga movement is on its last leg, and when the time is right, when the popular support is still there, settle the Naga issue. Otherwise, it will be too late. Because as the years go by, as the decades go by, the younger generation will become leaders, and they will understand what the Naga movement is all about. They will become leaders in governance. They will become bureaucrats. They will become church leaders. They will become evangelists. I mean, these leaders in 10 to 20 years, they will not have any connection with the Naga movement.
Right.
So it's a sad situation.
That's true. That's true. I just lost my train of thought, but I was going to say something on the Naga Naga national movement. I think we've sort of wrapped up. I mean, there's so many things to talk about, but I feel that you're going to be a very busy man. You already are, but in the coming months and years, you're going to be very busy. But I hope that we can do like a second episode to this when there's new developments and some interesting stories for you to tell. I'm looking forward to that. And what we do when we sign off on the podcast, the wrapping up part, it's called the message. It's a small segment, okay? So I asked the guest to give 3 messages. One, the first message to your family or friends. You can name people or you can just in general give a message.
Okay, yeah.
Second message is to maybe people you've lost touch with, an old classmate or something like that that you're not in touch with, and maybe you can use this platform to just give a message to him or whoever. And the third message is just to the Nagas in general. What's your message and advice or anything you want to say? You can take your time to just think about it, and we'll sign off on that.
Yeah. Okay, to my old friends whom I've lost touch with, especially the class of 1990, Holy Cross. Okay. I just want to tell them I remember you. We had a good time. Our high school days were probably the best, and I think it's for most of the people. So yes, we have a WhatsApp group, but then we have lost touch. So I just want to tell all those friends, remember me, because we are embarking on a journey where we need your prayers and we need your moral support. So that's a message from my friends from my high school days. To my family, I guess, what can I say except tell my wife that believe in me. Of course, she believes in me. And it's very important that not only my wife, but even the wives of my colleagues in the party, it's very important that the wives share in the vision of the husband, share a vision of the husband, or believe in the vision of the husband. Because this journey is not for the. This journey is a very difficult journey we are undertaking. Unless the wives support us, we cannot complete the journey. And it's very, very important that the wives, they constantly support us in prayer and through their encouraging words and things like that. And of course, to all the children, you see, most of us, we are in our late 30s and early 40s or late 40s, whatever. And so we have young children. So my colleagues all of us, we are going through trying times, and it's a tough time for all of us because we'll be leaving our children. We'll be touring the districts and the constituencies. We will be having meetings constantly, and then as it is. It's not even been a month or so, but I'm already missing my children. I sleep in the house, but I hardly see my children. We are going through that. So I tell the wives, please take care of children, take care of our children, and take care of your husbands. Continue to pray for them. To the Naga people, I just want to say this. It's very simple. I will not say vote for me. I will not say that. I will not say vote for the RPP. No, I will not say that. I'll just say this, pray for the RPP, because this is what we need. The Naga people they're intelligent, they're wise enough, they have the wisdom to see things, and I just want all the Naga people to pray for us day and night without ceasing, because prayer is our greatest weapon. We have nothing, we have no influence. We are almost like fools, because in this age, in this era, where money power rules and where muscle power rules, who forms a political party with nothing? And we are a party which have decided to fight elections with nothing. So prayer is our only weapon, and therefore this is my appeal to the Naga people. Please pray for us wherever you are.
Very nice message. All three messages very well put. Like I told you earlier, this show is all about positivity. Like we are trying to just promote and uplift one another's. I think good energy. When we say like positive vibes, I think that's something that's missing greatly in our society, and we just want to encourage more of that, helping one another, being there for one another, instead of always trying to pull each other down like we always do, right? So, thank you so much for joining. I know you're a busy man, but you took the time out to join on this small platform and speak. A great conversation. I'm looking forward to hearing more in the future, maybe when you're free again. And I genuinely wish you all the best in your endeavors.
Yes.
Thank you so
I'm
much.
wishing you all the best.
Thank you.
In your new endeavor.
Thank you. That's a wrap.
Hey.